Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Golem F. Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio. We do apologize for the late start. We just had a lot of technical issues prior to the show to try to rectify and get set up. But now we are on the air and we are going to jump it off. Obviously, we will start off with NXT. This was New Year's Evil. This was their biggest event to start the 2025 calendar. And yes, we will get into it right here and right now. So, New Year's Evil. That was from the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles, California, and we started it off with the NXT Women's Championship on the line. Julia versus Roxanne Perez, winner of the bout in 11 minutes and 14 seconds, and new NXT champion, women's champion. It was Julia. She beats Roxanne Perez, finally realizing her dream and finally dethroning the Prodigy in the process. An excellent match to jump off the show. 11 minutes, 14 seconds was ample time. The story was written very well. And now with Julia as the champion, a lot of people believe that that means Roxanne Perez is possibly on her way out of NXT and on her way to the main roster. I probably would say that the best odds of seeing Roxanne I would probably say possibly Royal Rumble is probably where she'll make her official debut on the main roster. And then it's really, where does she go? Does she go off to Monday Night Raw? Does she go off to Friday Night SmackDown? I think that's gonna be the big debate. I know a lot of people are thinking possibly Raw for Roxanne, which I know Anthony Floyo would be very ecstatic to get the Prodigy on his show. So I think that's kind of where they believe she might be heading. But again, we won't know until the smoke clears and the dust flies. And as far as Julia goes, look, she is without a doubt one of the hottest names in the game right now, and she's done an incredible job. But what's really going to make her even more credible and more better and amazing is each time she's actually getting better, not just in the ring, but even her promos are getting better. She's learning the English language. She's willing, and the thing is, with Julia, she is willing to listen. She is willing to learn. And she even said in an interview recently that, even she gets English lessons 2 times a week. But she said she wants to go more than that. She wants to further herself. She wants to immerse herself into the English language because she knows that, especially when you're doing promos in English, that's going to carry a lot more weight for you to really learn. This kind of commitment, this kind of level of degree that she's doing right now is going to make her as a bona fide superstar, because once she hones her English language and cuts really good promos in NXT, in WWE, she will go far. The commitment itself makes Shawn Michaels and the guys on NXT believe that they are doing the right thing by giving her the football and letting her run with it. Now it's all on Julia to produce and be a great champion, because she's got a huge shoes to fill from who the champion was previously. But the commitment that I've been seeing from Julia makes me believe that she will be a champion for a very long time. And as a matter of fact, I think she could get a 1-year reign as champion. The way she's starting to look and everything else. Now, yes, there's Stephanie Valcourt. There is Delta Brady. there's some other great women on the NXT roster right now that would possibly put themselves in line to be future champions in their own right. But I feel like right now is Julia's time, and she is going to make the most of this moment. As always, history was made, unprecedented crowning in a 3.5-star bout. Anthony Florio, it is all yours. Julia wins the NXT Women's Championship in 11 minutes and 14 seconds.
Yeah, I'll tell. I'll tell you, MF. Roxanne Perez has been one of the most consistent performers in NXT, and Julia has been stellar since she arrived on the scene. So, unsurprisingly, this was a fun match with a lot of physicality. They have developed great chemistry in their previous interactions, which allowed them to put this match together the way that they did. Neither woman had control for longer than the other, so it felt like either could win at any moment. They had the crowd chanting and popping for every close submission and near fall. And Cora Jade, tried to, she showed up to roll Roxanne back into the ring after a tumble at ringside, but the referee ejected her a moment later. The Prodigy tried all of her best moves, but nothing kept the challenger down. Julia with the Northern Lights bomb to finally put Roxanne down and become the new NXT Women's Champion. Julia's presentation is perfect. She has an amazing aura. And the butterfly suplex was awesome. So, yeah, this is right around the 3.25 to 3.5 threshold. Absolutely. And I believe I had this one. I mean, I had a feeling that Julia was going to win the title here. And I know that Michael Bullock felt the same way also. So, and now we have a new face of the women's division. How are they going to build this division around Julia? I don't know. We'll find out. And yes, you're absolutely right. Roxanne Perez, definitely sometime this year, Roxanne Perez will be main roster bound. It'll be interesting to see where she goes, whether she goes to Raw on Netflix or SmackDown on USA. We'll have to wait and find out. So 3.25, 3.5, one of the top fights of the night for sure. So with that, we started this thing out with, the women. They pretty much had the first hour of this show pretty much, and we have yet another match, and this is another match with championship implications.
Yes, it is. It's the number one contenders match for the NXT Women's North American title, as it was Stephanie Valcour, Kalani Jordan, Cora Jade, and Lola Vice. And when it was all said and done, the winner of the match, let me see if I can find the time of the fall. Okay, hold on. Oh, I don't see it. Where is it? Hold on. All right, I got it. In roughly 9 minutes, Stephanie Valcour becomes the number one contender for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Anthony, kind of a no big surprise. You kind of hinted that you thought Stephanie was going to be it. I kind of felt like maybe Lola, because I thought the title was a little beneath. But now after Julia wins her title, maybe Stephanie is worthy of being the North American champion.
I think so too. And again, I believe I had this one. And this was a well-paced match that gave all four wrestlers a little time in the spotlight. It had some hiccups, but just about every multi-person bout is going to have a timing issue here and there. The good news is they were few and far between. For a long time, it was hard to tell who was going to win because nobody seemed like the favorite. All four women made sense as challengers for a title, so there was a feeling of unpredictability we don't always get in WWE. When the dust settled, it was Valcour who won with her backbreaker finisher to earn a shot at the NXT Women's North American Championship. This was a fun match with a lot of energy. The NXT Women's division is as strong as it gets. Cora Jade is so much more convincing as a heel than she used to be. The 4-person submission spot was awesome, but it happened during the break, so a lot of fans probably missed it. And Kalani Jordan over-rotated on a moonsault and almost missed everyone at ringside. So, So there isn't much more for me left to say on this. So I will give this in excess of 3 stars, solid 3, and no big surprise on the outcome. So not much more for me to say. So MF, your girl, Stephanie Vacour, one step closer to realizing her championship dreams.
Yes, indeed. And I thought it was a very done match. Nothing more to say. 3 stars. Totally agreed. And now we move on to the 6 women tag team fight. Shotzi, Gigi Dolan, and Tatum Paxley goes up against Jasmine Nix, JC Jane, and Fallon Henley, members of Fatal Influence. And it was the face team. It was Gigi, Shotzi, and Tatum winning in 10 minutes and 14 seconds. Shotzi pinned Fallon Henley. Anthony Florio, you know what that meant.
I believe that would be a championship committee moment.
It is, but we got a problem.
We have a number 1 contender.
We already have a number 1 contender established. That is Stephanie Vacour. Or is it? Because basically, of course, at the end of the whole thing, in the back, after it was over, Ava was with Fallon and letting her know that, well, because by virtue of that victory tonight, that Stephanie Vacour is next in line for the title. Well, Shotzi comes out and is like, wait a minute, hold on. Why is Stephanie the number 1 contender? I just pinned your champion 1, 2, 3 in the center of the ring here tonight. So Ava's like, you know what? Okay, wait. Stephanie's like, you know what? I'll fight you next week. You want to do it? Let's do this. You want to fight? I'll fight you next week. So Ava thought about it. She's like, all right, if you're really willing to put your number 1 contender spot on the line, and you two want to agree on this, I'm good with it. Shotzi Blackheart, Stephanie Vacour, 1-on-1. The winner next week becomes the true, undisputed number 1 contender for the Women's North American Championship. So, the match itself was a 3-star bout. Very good matchup, great fight. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a solid match for what it was worth. For Shotzi to get the shot, I actually don't have a problem with this. Shotzi did pin the champion. Normally that yells championship committee moment. But because Stephanie Vacour already won earlier in the night, you would think, okay, Stephanie would fight Fallon. Whoever wins that would get Shotzi. Well, basically, in a very manipulative move, Fallon's like, you know what? I'll let you two deal with this. I'm out of here. So basically, Ava's like, all right, if you two are willing to fight, we'll make this a true number 1 contenders, and then whoever wins gets a shot at Fallon for the title. Seems fair to me. Everybody seems pretty cool with this. Now this makes me wonder, and this makes me a little nervous, because yes, Stephanie Vacour won, but are they going to push Shotzi to the title shot, Stephanie waiting in the wings? Or is this the avenue where we could get Stephanie to get a bigger fight, the NXT women's title shot? Could we get Julia versus Stephanie down the line? And that's why they're pushing Shotzi into the opportunity, where maybe they might be trying to do a bait and switch on us. Instead of letting Stephanie Vacour get the shot, let's give it to Shotzi, because they want to keep the belt on Fallon Henley a little while longer. Maybe that's why they're doing that move. I don't know. Just my thoughts alone. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Solid 3, teetering on 3.25. This was a hard-hitting match that lasted through 2 commercial breaks, so we had enough time to see every combination of opponents work together. While the energy in the ring was great, there were a couple of moments when things didn't go as smoothly as desired. Gigi Dolan and JC Jane's confrontation near the end was one of the highlights because they have so much history together, going back to their days as Toxic Attraction. Shotzi hit a senton from the top rope to get the pin on Fallon Henley to score the win, which seemed like an odd choice. There were two other women who could have taken the pin, so having the champion in the match be the one to lose was surprising. And Henley took Shotzi down during a suicide dive with a forearm that looked nasty. So not much more to say on this. 3 to 3.25 stars, and now Tuesday this Tuesday night on NXT, we will have Stephanie Vacour versus Shotzi, and the winner will be the undisputed #1 contender to Fallon Henley and the Women's North American Championship. So we shall see how that plays out. So 3 3.25. So with that being said, we move on to yet another championship match. We have the Heritage Cup, the NXT Heritage Cup. We know the rules of a Heritage Cup match, but the thing is, due to unique circumstances that went down on the Christmas Eve episode, this was not your average Heritage Cup match. This was a special caveat that was made by General Manager Ava MF. I mean, we know this; it's usually a 6-round match, not this one.
1 round, 1 fight to a finish. Winner takes the cup. Well, as you remember, Anthony, on that Christmas episode, the initial Heritage Cup ended in a disqualification because of the fact that basically William Regal tried to introduce the brass knuckles, and it wasn't. And what happened was Charlie Dempsey had his hands on the brass knuckles, and he got caught with the hand in the cookie jar, even though he never used it. But the referee thought that he hit Alexis King with the brass knuckles, called for the bell, and Alexis King at the time became the new Heritage Cup champion. But after much debate and review of the tape, they were like, you know what? That was unfair. That was a horrible way to lose the Heritage Cup. So we're going to run this back, but we're not doing it under rules. It is straight up, one-on-one, pure fight. Winner gets the cup. Winner of the bout in 11 minutes and 1 second. And now the man who truly can say that they are the NXT Heritage Cup champion, Lexis King. 11:01, solid matchup, good battle, very good battle, another 3-star bout, and this was exactly what it needed it to be. We finally got a resolution, we finally got an outcome, and for Lexis King, now he can legitimately say, I am the Heritage Cup champion, because maybe there was an asterisk with the first one because of the way that it ended. There's no asterisk on this one, Anthony. He is undisputed champion now with the Heritage Cup firmly in his possession.
Absolutely, and the feud had been going for a while, so this felt like the blow-off match to end it all. Most of this match was fine, but the last minute or so was strange. The low blow looked planned, but the collision in the corner did not. King is such an interesting choice to be a babyface because he seems like such a natural heel, especially with his movie villain beard. King is not a massive powerhouse, so lifting Charlie Dempsey off the mat was an impressive show of strength. I'm going to give this in excess of 3.25, teetering on 3.5. Biggest win of Lexis King's career. He now is the undisputed Heritage Cup champion. And I'll be interested to see how this plays out. So with that, 3.25, teetering on 3.5, but a little more towards the 3.25 or so side of it. So congratulations to Lexis King. History made again. And I believe we move on to, when it comes to the wrestling matches, I believe we move on to the main event of the evening, the other half of the big double main event.
Yes, it is. It was Trick Williams putting the NXT title on the line against Obafemi and Eddie Thorpe. Well, earlier in the night, Eddie Thorpe got jumped again. This time, people were thinking, oh, it's Eddie faking the injury, this and that. No. Obafemi's like, I got him. I took him out. And I have no regrets over what I did. If he wants to show up later in the night and wants to make it a triple threat, fine by me. But as of now, it's straight up one-on-one for the NXT title. Ava's like, you know what? Fine. If he makes it, he's in it. But if he doesn't make it, I'm not gonna stop this. This is for the NXT title. We're doing it this way. Fine. So it started out as Obafemi versus Trick Williams. Halfway through the fight, Eddie Thorpe does make an appearance and tries to get involved. But when it was all said and done, the winner of the bout, 10 minutes and 43 seconds, and new NXT champion, Darula Obafemi. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
What a match. What a moment. Another one we had this one as well. The way 90% of this match played out was predictable, and Femi's win could also be called predictable, but they produced an enjoyable main event. And it is weird. It's weird seeing Trick Williams look so small next to an opponent. And then after the match was over, Obafemi and Julia posed together at the top of the ramp as the new champions. WWE clearly wanted to send a message that this is the new normal in 2025. So, enjoyable main event, another 3.25 star bout, and what a moment for Obafemi. Well deserved, and I voted him as the breakout star of the year, and now you know why he was. And you thought he was dominant as the North American champion. I think he could be just as dominant, or if not more so dominant, as the NXT champion. So, man, oh man, the sky is the limit for this young man. And man, so two great new champions, two new stars, two new faces. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a very exciting year for NXT in 2025, no question about it. So, solid 3.25 stars. No surprise about the outcome. I think Trick is main roster bound. Maybe they put him on SmackDown and rekindle that feud with Carmelo Hayes. I mean, that's a possibility. Or do they put him on Raw and keep him apart? I don't know. But just like with Roxanne, I believe Trick is also main roster bound. So solid 3.25. MF, like I said, we thought if we thought that Oba was dominant as the North American champ, just imagine how dominant he's going to be with the NXT title itself. Oh boy, 3.25. It's all yours.
3.25, well said. Absolutely, no doubt about it. The right man won. History being made. Unprecedented crowning as well. And there's really nothing more to add. As far as the NXT show goes, this was to me a 7 out of 10. I thought they did a really good job. There was a really good promo by Dwayne The Rock Johnson as well on this show. At the end of the day, the action flowed really well. It was a very smooth 2-hour action on the CW. And yeah, that lasting image of seeing Julia and Obafemi together, holding up their respective titles with the smoke bombs going off, with the confetti flying, the tripod confetti flying, definitely says that we are definitely in for a brand new era in NXT. And get ready, guys. This is going to be a wild ride. I think they did a really well done job. Anthony, it's yours so we can set up for SmackDown Live.
Yeah, The Rock closed the New Year's Eve with a speech that required a few bleeps from the censors and the floor director to signal how much time was left in the show, so we didn't go over. The Great One is not known for being succinct, so they wanted to make sure he had his time, or he made his time. Rock did a lot of posturing and put over the NXT roster and the WWE universe, but his promo didn't really accomplish anything. NXT has always been hit and miss with storylines and characters, but one thing the brand has been doing well for a long time is featuring its women's division. 3 out of 5 matches, and hell, the first 3 matches on the card were women's matches with a total of 12 competitors. And that doesn't even count Ava and a couple of other women who appeared on the show. On top of that, Julia and Roxanne Perez, I believe, put on the best performance of the night in the opening bout. They gave us a bit of everything and made it hard for anyone to follow them. The whole show was a solid 2 hours of NXT programming. Seeing 3 title changes helped make it feel like an important show, even if The Rock hadn't been there. Obafemi and Julia as the top dogs in their respective divisions feels like a great start to the new year, and let's hope NXT can keep up that momentum. 7 to 7.5 out of 10. So with that being said, MF, we move on to the second episode of Friday Night Smackdown, the 3-hour era.
Yeah, and we started off with Paul Heyman cutting a promo, introducing and bringing out Cody Rhodes, only to make an announcement that Roman Reigns was going to enter the Royal Rumble with the intentions of winning the Rumble and getting his shot at Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. That was interrupted by Kevin Owens. Owens started poking the bear on Cody Rhodes. Rhodes had enough, ran into the crowd, met Owens, and we had a brawl at the rampway. But then we had a problem. 2 other members, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, showed up, and they got into Paul Heyman's face. That brought out Jimmy Uso. He came out to brawl, and it turned into a 2-on-1 beatdown until Cody Rhodes came back and cleared the ring. Well, okay. Definitely a segment of the night. That was amazing. And Anthony Florio, I mean, we have a lot to dissect because now you have, think about this. Cody Rhodes, definitely with Kevin Owens, that thing's going. With the respect, and this was all the respect that Roman Reigns had for Cody to basically tell him, I'm entering the Royal Rumble, and when I win the Royal Rumble, I'm coming after you, so keep that belt nice and safe. But more importantly, Owens getting in the head of Cody. But think about this. Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga showed up. No Solo Sikoa in sight.
What does that tell you? Solo Sikoa not there. Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga were. I reckon there's going to be some changes in the new bloodline here.
I think so too.
And I believe Jacob Fatu, his stock is about to rise big time.
Oh, dear Lord.
I can sense it. I believe it.
I'm telling you now, man, if this guy becomes the new leader, oh my effing God, it's about to get crazy.
But Solo will be back on SmackDown next week, so we'll get some more we'll answer more questions about that next week in San Diego. But all right, of course we have to keep building Cody and KO because, of course, February 1 at the Royal Rumble, Lucas Oil Stadium, the ladder match, where both the current version of the WWE Championship, along with, of course, my all-time favorite, the Winged Eagle Championship belt, will both be hanging above. And I reckon Cody will win that match. And it'll be interesting to see who wins the Royal Rumble. Think about this. I mean, you got LA Knight in there. But listen to who else we've got. CM Punk threw his hat down. Cena threw his hat down. And you got Roman. Think about it. Punk, Cena, Roman.
Dear Lord, yeah.
Those are the 3 favorites right there.
Those are the 3 odds-on favorites. And everybody is saying, one of these three is going to win it. Right now, if you think about it, Cena is the odds-on favorite.
Yep.
You could probably say Roman is second choice, but don't discount CM Punk to possibly win the Royal Rumble either, because they were talking about him maybe getting a push for a championship. So, I mean, if any one of these three wins, I'm not losing any sleep if any one of these three win the Royal Rumble.
Oh no, not at all. If Cena wins it, he would tie Stone Cold Steve Austin with his third Royal Rumble win. So,
and it would also open the door for him to possibly get number 17 as well.
And cement himself as the GOAT of WWE. Yes. And professional wrestling, maybe even.
Yeah, because now you could start, if he wins the Royal Rumble, the talk for 17 begins. If CM Punk wins, could this be the culmination of what undoubtedly could be the greatest comeback in WWE history for CM Punk? Remember, hell froze over a year ago at the Survivor Series, and think about the road he had to go through. Imagine him winning the Royal Rumble and getting the shot at the world title.
Positively, MF, yes. We'll see. I mean, you got three great stories, and I'll make a bold prediction right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they're the final three. I wouldn't be surprised if they are the final three. I wouldn't. Cena going for number 17. He wins the Royal Rumble. He's got a golden ticket to do just that. CM Punk, when he had the biggest pop in WWE history, bigger than a Road Warrior pop even. I mean, in Chicago, when we thought Survivor Series 2023 was going off the air for the night, you hear that? We do our biggest Corey and Sean gasp of all time. MF lets out his biggest what of all time. And that's a moment we will all never forget. Now, remember, he got injured during the Rumble match last year, Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
When he hit that Future Shock DDT on him, jacked up his tricep, and that, put WrestleMania 40 into a major tailspin. And I think if it wasn't for that, there's a very realistic chance CM Punk would have won that Royal Rumble match. And that would have set up the program with him and Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. That was the original plan. And as far as Roman Reigns is concerned, Roman's got unfinished business with Cody.
Oh, yeah.
Roman won. Cody won. Could we get the rubber match in Vegas?
It's possible. And plus, remember, he wants that. He felt like he lost everything. When he lost that title at WrestleMania, he lost his bloodline. He lost the Ulafala. He lost the championship. And now he literally has two of the three parts back. He's technically now the leader of the bloodline again. He's got the Ulafala back. There's only one thing Roman is looking for that he doesn't get yet that would complete that puzzle. And that is the WWE Championship. If he gets that, it is without a doubt the biggest remarkable turnaround. And think about that. From where he was 1 year ago on top of the world to get it all back in one calendar year, it's without a doubt the most remarkable story. Even though I don't think Roman's going to win it, but it definitely would be a great story if he does. Right now, I think it's either going to be Cena or Punk. Roman right now is third on my list.
Okay.
I don't think Roman's going to win the Royal Rumble. I think it's either going to be CM Punk or John Cena. Right now, if if you're gonna put the proverbial gun to my head and said, make a pick now, John Cena wins the 2025 Royal Rumble, in my opinion.
And I would not be surprised if that happens. I wouldn't.
That's my flat out prediction. If you're gonna ask me now, I got Cena winning it all. Now, can that change? Absolutely.
Of course.
But if you're asking me tonight, on January 12th, 2025, who's my pick? I got John Cena winning the Royal Rumble on the men's side.
I'm leaning towards him myself, but right behind him is CM Punk.
And I would not be, and I'm not disagreeing with that call either. Right now, like I said, Cena's my number one. CM Punk is number two. Roman Reigns is my third choice in winning the Royal Rumble. Now we got to see who else is going to be involved in the Rumble. We got to see what other guys are going to be in it. But right now, that is the order that I got. LA Knight, I don't think you got any chance of winning the Rumble, bro. Thank you, but I don't see you winning it all. Those are your top three guys right there. But like I said, I got Cena as odds-on favorite right now with Punk and Roman in that particular order.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't be surprised if they throw any NXT guys in there. I wouldn't be surprised. And I also wouldn't be surprised if we get any legends or surprises. So
actually, one name I've been hearing getting thrown around is Joe Henry from TNA. I heard his name getting thrown around about possibly being one of the 30 in the Rumble. I'll say this: if Joe Henry shows up, Indianapolis is gonna. I know they got a roof up there, but that roof might blow if Joe Henry shows up.
Oh, you kidding me? 60, 70,000?
Oh, yeah. Well, they're talking about maybe doing about 40, I think. I don't think they're doing 60, 70. From what I heard, the rumor going around is they're only
40,
doing
50.
about maybe 35,000. I think they're only going to use half the stadium like they normally do.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now that I think about it, I could see that. Somewhere between 30 and 40, I think.
Yeah.
And let's not forget Joe Henry next Sunday night, literally the biggest match of his career, when he challenges Nick Nemeth for the TNA Heavyweight Championship as part of Genesis, which I will have a full preview of in my Tony's Take come Monday night on Ridiculously Raw.
And we will have that at 11 p.m. Eastern, immediately following Monday Night Raw on Netflix. All right, so
let's move on.
So after that, we had our first fight of the night, which was for the Women's United States Championship, as it was Chelsea Green versus Michin. Chelsea Green winning the match in 8 minutes and 10 seconds. Anthony Floyo, the champion, remains the champion.
No big surprise here. 2.5, 2 3/4 of more 2.5, honestly.
Yes.
The challenger was aggressive right out of the gate. She was the one who Michin was the one who Chelsea Green defeated to win the title at Saturday Night's main event last month. So she was hoping to right a perceived wrong. Unfortunately for her, Piper Niven was at ringside to give the champion an unfair advantage. Pretty average match. Green and Yim both looked good, but this didn't quite live up to their previous match. Chelsea retained, but you could tell Mia Yim was not done with her. And Michin's Hurricane Ranas looked good. That's all I can say on that. So 2.5 stars. No surprise about the outcome. And MF, as I give it to you for your thoughts, I got to do it. I got to pull out the Jessie from WrestleMania 5 because she did this. Chelsea Green pulling the tights and getting the win.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that. And it was, I hate to say it, a miscarriage of justice. And, that Anthony would have given us the Jessie laugh on that one. Bullock would have been flipping out, as I would have been like, what a miscarriage of justice we just witnessed. Chelsea Green stealing her way back to the United States Championship, but it is what it is. Solid matchup. Yeah, two and a quarter, 2.5 is my rating for that. And we move right on along as we had Los Garza, Angel and Bertho. They went up against Pretty Deadly, and it was no boys. Nope. Los Garza winning the match, 8 minutes and 55 seconds. They move on and they face off with the winners of another matchup that was done later in the night, as it basically tried to determine who is going to be the number one contenders for DIY tag team titles. So 4 teams kind of was like, hey, I want a shot at the gold. And they were basically and Nick Aldis is like, all right, then we'll do this. 2 qualifying matches tonight. The winners face off each other next week, and the winner of that match will face DIY for the tag team titles down the line. So this was part 1 of the puzzle. Los Garza does advance, but it was with a little bit of controversy because you had Electro Lopez, you had Santos Escobar. So Legado del Fantasma definitely had their fingerprints all over this match. Anthony Florio, if you're a fan of Pretty Deadly, you're probably crying foul right now. And you probably do have a legitimate argument in this instant. I know you definitely were crying foul and spitting kittens on how Los Garzas won this match. 2.5 stars, it's yours.
Oh, absolutely. While this was not a totally one-sided battle, Los Garza definitely dominated most of the action. Angel and Berto scored the win thanks to a little help from Santos Escobar and Electro Lopez. It was short and uneventful, but Los Garza getting a win is never a bad thing. They are a great team with unlimited potential. And Angel Garza was showing a lot of power by tossing both members of Pretty Deadly around for slams and suplexes. So another 2.5 star match. And I believe, and Los Garza now moves on. And we'll see who they will face in this little tag team round robin thing going on. And I could possibly see this going down maybe at Saturday night's main event, that eventual title match.
Yeah.
So, because we got a Saturday night's main event coming up in 2 weeks. So
on January 25th from San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio, yeah, absolutely. So 2.5 stars for that. So I believe we move on to we got ourselves a title match here, a return match from Survivor Series.
Yes, it was. It was Shinsuke Nakamura putting the United States Heavyweight Championship on the line against LA Knight. Unfortunately, the fight gets thrown out in 14:05 because Jacob and Tama Tonga jumped LA Knight. LA Knight wins the match by disqualification in 14:05, but I hate to say this, he didn't feel like a winner after this because Jacob Atu and Tama Tonga definitely was not feeling the movement. They basically took umbrage on LA Knight, Anthony Florio. It was a damn good match until the end, until Jacob and Tama was like, you know what? Nah, it's over. We're ending this now.
What a damn shame. This was harboring around this was right around 3.5 star territory. But unfortunately, with it getting thrown out, we have no choice but to NA this, which is a damn shame.
Mm.
LA Knight and Shinsuke Nakamura have had a handful of matches, and their chemistry has grown with each encounter. Nakamura's versatility pushed LA Knight outside his comfort zone a bit. Unfortunately, the match ended in a disqualification or a no contest when Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu interfered. Earlier in the show, LA Knight had helped lock them out of the building, so they were getting a little revenge. Jimmy Uso and Cody Rhodes came out to run them off and issued a challenge for a tag team match that was accepted and approved and met the approval of SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis. Nakamura versus Knight was fun, but the ending kept it from being what it could have been. I can't say this enough. Shinsuke Nakamura's entrance is awesome. But it feels like it's missing one detail, and it's hard to pinpoint what that is. And Nakamura looks like he has put on some muscle in recent months. And LA Knight's jump to the top rope for a superplex was great. And one other thing that I got to note here, Michael Bullock and I, we couldn't believe when we heard this. When LA Knight came out for the match and Lillian Garcia did the ring introduction, she said, LA Knight, yeah. I'm like, what? She actually said the yeah of LA Knight. Man, Lillian Garcia is having the most fun she's ever had since coming back. Seriously. So that was awesome. But when she did that, Michael, during our SmackDown chat last night, Bullock could not stop laughing. Bullock was laughing like a hyena, pretty much. He was loving that. And when we see him tomorrow for our boys' night out, I mean, yeah, we're definitely gonna bring that up. Sure.
He'll definitely reference it. I got a feeling it will happen. Yep.
So unfortunately, this is gonna have to be an NA. Even though if I were to put a rating on it, it was on its way to 3.5 before the no contest. But for right now, we're gonna have to pull a Bullock here and give it an NA.
All right. So with that said, we do indeed move on. Next up after that, we had, this was the other half of that tag team little round robin tournament, Anthony, you were alluding to. Motor City Machine Guns going one-on-one with A-Town Down Under. Motor City Machine Guns winning in 12 minutes and 10 seconds. That means we are going to get Los Garza versus Motor City Machine Guns next week. And the winner of that match will get a shot at DIY down the line for the WWE Tag Team Championship. So, Anthony Florio, it is yours.
3.25, teetering on 3.5. These two teams could not be more different. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin are fast-paced wrestlers who work at breakneck speeds, but Austin Theory and Grayson Waller are a little more methodical and employ more power moves. It's always fun to see David fight the Goliath, but seeing it in a 2-on-2 match is not as common, so it created a fun dynamic. This match had a quick pace and a lot of great double team action. Motor City Machine Guns played good underdogs who would get in short bursts of offense. Everyone was working well together and put on an entertaining performance, but in the end, it was Motor City Machine Guns scoring the win with Skull and Bones. The height difference between the two teams was wild once they were standing next to each other. Waller and Theory are big guys, and with Sabin and Shelley being on the smaller side, it made them look even bigger. Chris Sabin has one of the best hot tag sequences. He is all over the place, but still so precise. And Grayson Waller is one of those guys who always goes the extra mile to sell for his opponents. It's an underrated skill. 3.25, teetering on 3.5. One of the top fights of the night for sure. And Motor City Machine Guns against Los Garza for the right to face DIY for the tag team titles. Man, that's gonna be fun. Oh, I'm already thinking about what that's gonna be like. So, 3.25, 3.5. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, 3.25, 3.5. No doubt about it. I think they did a fine job with that, and yeah, we'll wait and see how it plays out. Now we got ourselves a heck of a matchup down the line. And we're going to look forward to that. So nothing more to say there. Then we had a promo segment by the new WWE Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton, but it doesn't last very long. It was indeed interrupted by Nia Jax. Then she basically, I guess I can say it without getting myself in trouble here because it is a little bit of because my show is a little bit more than PG. So it's like a TV-14 type level. But she did say she called her an ungrateful little shit is what she called her. I thought she called her a bitch, but Actually, not. See, it was. I guess somebody did some word lip or some word reading. It was censored on USA, but I think outside of the USA, they did not censor it. So this is thanks to our boys up in the UK. I think this is a Canadian guy who did it, and he actually said, yeah, they didn't edit it on our end. She called her an ungrateful little shit, is what she called Tiffany Stratton. Then it was interrupted by Bayley. Then it was interrupted by Bianca Belair and Naomi. And the next thing we know, all hell breaks loose. Tiffany hitting the prettiest moonsault ever. She rolls out. Nick Aldis comes out and is like, you know what? All right, hold on. It seems like we got 4 ladies that wants to get a shot at this title. So we're going to do this. Nia Jax, Bayley, Naomi, Bianca Belair, fatal 4-way right here, right now. And the winner gets a shot at Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship. So we go to the match. Winner of the bout in 17 minutes and 15 seconds, the number 1 contender for the WWE Women's Championship. Oh, by the way, that title match next week on Smackdown. Bayley wins the match. Solid fight. Absolutely amazing. Yes, the ending was a little bit crazy because you had Candice LeRae coming out to try to get involved to help Nia Jax, to no avail. But it was the roast plant by Bayley putting it on Naomi that got the 1, 2, 3. But there was also an interesting moment in the whole thing, and that was when basically it looks like Bianca was going for the end. Candice LeRae grabbed that little braid of Bianca, and you know you're not supposed to do that. She tried to whip that braid, and guess what? She whipped Naomi by mistake. And you could see the look on her face like, oh no, what did I just do? That was not meant for you. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter because that led to her downfall in the match. That's going to be an interesting dynamic. We're going to have to keep an eye on that, Anthony Florio, because I don't think Naomi's going to be very happy with Bianca because that braid kind of was her downfall in this matchup. It was a 3.5-star bout, but man, after all that, Bayley gets the shot at the gold.
Yeah. Tiffany Stratton came out to celebrate winning the WWE Women's Championship. She got a great reaction from the crowd, especially when she was being interviewed by Byron Saxton. Nia came out and called her the ungrateful bleep and threatened to end her life. The segment led to a fight that ended with general manager Nick Aldis booking this fatal 4-way number 1 contenders match to see who would be Tiffany Stratton's first challenger. Bayley, Nia Jax, Bianca Belair, and Naomi, they were the competitors. And whenever Nia Jax was in the ring, everyone else would fight her. As soon as she was thrown out again, but Bayley and Belair would start going at it. Those two have a lot of issues going back to 2023, so they weren't holding back like Naomi and Belair did against each other. Candice LeRae eventually showed up to provide support for Nia Jax, but it did not make a difference. Bayley scoring the win on Naomi with the rose plant. Tiffany was not acting like a complete babyface, but a lot of her heel tendencies have faded away. And the level of improvement Nia Jax has made over the last couple of years cannot be understated. She is so much better at everything she does in the ring right now, whether you like her or you don't. And I'll go as far as to call this the fight of the night for me. For the second week in a row, the women steal the show. You remember last week it was Nia Jax and Naomi when they had that incredible match for the title before Tiffany cashed in. And but this is right up there. This was a solid 4 to 4.25 star match. I could go as far as to call it fight of the night if I wanted to. So Bayley gets the first shot. She'll get it next week in San Diego. So my guess is Tiffany should go over here. I mean, I think it would be a major disservice to Tiffany if they take it off of her and give it back to Bayley. I mean, that would be a bit of a disservice if I'm going to be honest. I mean, all the time, all the months, the several months, the almost 6 months that they built Tiffany for that moment, and to have her reign only last 2 weeks, that would be a massive disservice. But I don't see that happening. So I say Tiffy will retain, and then we'll see where we go from there. So 4 to 4 1/4 fight of the night for me. So MF, let's move on to the main event.
Yes, indeed. It was a tag team fight. This was stemming from earlier in the night, as it was Cody Rhodes and Jimmy Uso going up against Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. And it was Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga winning the match in 13 minutes and 15 seconds as Tama Tonga gets the pin on Jimmy Uso because Kevin Owens showed up. And there was a brawl between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes that left Jimmy on his own. And Anthony, it did not end well. No yeet for Jimmy Uso as Jacob Fatu continues to solidify his name as possibly the next leader of this defunct bloodline. As we wait to see until we wait to see what Solo Sikoa does when he comes back next week.
Enjoyable but incredibly predictable bout. And betting on Kevin Owens showing up would have been the safest money in Vegas, honest to goodness.
Agreed.
Jacob well, you already know this, MF, but I'm making this point for the first time. Jacob Fatu's intensity is unmatched. I mean, you know that. I mean, you saw it in MLW, for goodness sake. And when he held that MLW World Heavyweight title longer than anybody.
Oh, yeah.
He has the most intimidating facial expressions in all of WWE. And Cody hit a nice tope suicida toward the end of the bout. So I'll give it a solid 3.5 stars. That's the best I can give it. So there isn't much more for me to say. Like I said, it was enjoyable for the most part, but honestly, it was rather predictable, if I'm going to be honest. So 3.5 for me. So MF, your thoughts on the main event?
Yeah, 3.5, no doubt. Total agreement. But at the end of the day, yeah, this was exactly what it needed it to be. So nothing more to add. Overall review. I gotta say another solid show, about 7.5 out of 10. I thought the 3-hour format. I think we're still trying to get used to. I don't know if it really delivers in the way that we thought it was gonna be, but all in all, it was still a solid show. I really enjoyed it. I think they did a fine job with it. I know a lot of people's been begging SmackDown to go back to 2 hours. I think a lot of people feel like, you know what, the 3rd hour for SmackDown, probably unnecessary. I think it's time to go back under the 2-hour format, and they're now counting the days to see that back in June, because that's when supposedly SmackDown is supposed to go back to the 2-hour format. But yeah, so I mean, they did fine for what it was worth, but I think a lot of people thinks like Raw should be 3, SmackDown should go back down to 2, and then we continue that way, because some people were bored, some people didn't think it was as great as it was going to be. So I mean, not a bad SmackDown, but I don't know. I kind of feel like the 3-hour format maybe is a little out of place, where Monday Night Raw was perfect because it was comfortable. They had a bigger roster. SmackDown, not as much, but even though they're getting ample time, the quality of the matches are better under a 3-hour format. But it feels like, and this is just from certain people that I read, from IWC, whatever, some people feel like it's boring. Some people feel like it's a tad too long. So that's the negatives that I'm hearing from the SmackDown side, even though I think the show's been fine. The quality's been amazing. This is what we were hoping for. But yeah, so Anthony, it's yours.
7.5 out of 10. Friday Smackdown felt like a pretty run-of-the-mill show. It had some matches, some interviews, some backstage segments, a few fights, and a couple of storyline advancements. That being said, this week's episode was a long 3 hours. None of the matches stood out as memorable, and with one title match ending without a real winner, it left a lot to be desired. Seeing Tiffany Stratton get such a warm welcome was great, and a good indication of her babyface potential. But with Bayley as her first challenger, the champ may not be ready to take the high road just yet. Los Garza and Pretty Deadly had a fun match, and Motor City Machine Guns and A-Town Down Under did some solid work. Next week, we will see Los Garza and Motor City Machine Guns fight for the next shot at DIY and the Tag Team Championships. The Blue Brand being 3 hours is going to take some getting used. It's going to take some getting used to. But if the company wants it to do well, it needs to start putting in more matches than just 2 every hour. So, 7.5 out of 10 for me. So with that being said, MF, wrap it up and hit us with that future content.
Tomorrow, Monday night is Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. SmackDown on a Monday Night Raw recap, and of course his Tony's Take as well. Then from there, we don't have another show until literally Friday, and that is going to be the NFL Friday, as we're going to have the divisional playoff previews, and we're going to also be previewing the national championship game as well. Then 1 week from tonight is another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk, as we will be previewing, as we're going to do another preview, as this time we'll be previewing SmackDown. We're going to do the recap of SmackDown and NXT. And yeah, so a little late schedule for now, but trust me, folks, it's going to be all worth it. So for Anthony Floyo, I'm Michael Fletcher, saying so long, everybody, and we'll see you all on Monday night.
Goodbye.